unless one of these people ends up being the heir to Joe Flacco. They got to figure out who's going to be under center. Let's face it, it has not been good. With the intention, when you make an investment in a high first-round draft pick in a quarterback, obviously the stakes are very high when you do that. Let's hear it for the old guys. Who's fourth on their depth chart? And this is the Ricky Cobb Show, presented by Prize Picks. Preseason football is underway. College football is coming up this weekend, and there is no better place for you to be than Prize Picks. Don't miss any of the action this season with Prize Picks. And, the closer we get to the season, some of the teams with muddled quarterback situations, they got to figure out who's going to be under center. Joe Flacco, not a surprise, but Joe Flacco officially will be the week one starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. He's been number one on their depth chart since the beginning of training camp. We all know that they've got four guys that potentially could make their 53-man roster. Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, who was their third-round pick, and who was the other guy? I always forget who their who's fourth on their depth chart. Do any of you guys, Tim,
Pickett?
Ron?
Pickett.
The other guy.
Pickett.
No, I remember Pickett and Dylan Gabriel. I'm just trying to think who the other guy is. Do they have anybody else?
Oh, they signed Tyler Huntley.
Okay, that's who it is. Okay. That's who. Okay, well, you might know. Of course, he's a legend. His number's been retired already in college football. Shedeur Sanders, who we saw in his first preseason game, who made his debut. Yeah, him, Ron. Thanks for staying with me there. But in any event, Ron, trying to make it funny is what I'm trying to do. Just trying to make it funny. Shedeur Sanders, we'll see what happens as the season goes on. He looked good in his first preseason game. I'm not going to necessarily read too much into that. He's playing against fucking backups, with backups, and he threw 23 passes. It was a good start, is what it was, and we'll find out. Maybe he will emerge. But Joe Flacco gets the nod to begin the season, and at age 40, Joe Flacco will be, and this surprised me. I'm almost surprised there aren't more, but maybe I shouldn't be. There's certainly a lot more Cleveland Browns quarterbacks going back about 25 years. Tim Couch there from the University of Kentucky. And I thought, oh my gosh, a guy from Kentucky. I can't believe it. A Kentucky football player has been taken at the top of a draft. And this is exciting. He's going to go out and represent Kentucky. Well, he turns out one of many. That looks like my ex-girlfriend's roster of former lovers, Ron. I don't know what's going on there. Those are all
Cobb?
my Eskimo brothers. Yeah, those are my Eskimo brothers.
Oh, God.
In any event, take a look at that. Take a look at that. This thing is constantly getting updated. This guy's fucking awesome, by the way. And I've seen this before, but look, now we're adding people to it. I don't know. Maybe people are being added with AI. Or maybe he's just constantly updating it. I mean, we don't even have, Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett. They're just hoping. Shedeur Sanders, they're just hoping that they can get on the jersey of fame there. It looks like the fucking Vietnam Memorial there with all of the names on it. People like to come up and somebody comes up and stencils Derek Anderson so that they can remember that important part of Cleveland Browns.
It's like the Stanley Cup. They engrave it every time.
Yeah, he's going to have to eventually get it redone with Velcro with smaller characters in order to fit everybody on there. Unless Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel or Kenny Pickett or one of these people ends up being the heir to Joe Flacco. Now, I love Joe Flacco. Okay, right out of the gate, let me tell you, I love Joe Flacco because he's a gunslinger. Give me the guys who are gunslingers. Jameis Winston, I love Jameis Winston just because he's adorable, but he's a gunslinger. He had a 30-30 season, for God's sakes. Only guy ever to do it. Touchdowns and interceptions. But Flacco is a gunslinger. He might throw four touchdown passes to his own team and a touchdown pass to the other team, and you're going to have some fun. But at age 40, he is the 18th quarterback in the history of the NFL past the age of 40. Life begins at 40. And I was wondering, guys, if take a crack at trying to name some of the others.
Ooh, this will be fun.
According to ESPN, there's some debate. Tim and I were talking before the show. Tim, I don't know. You guys were saying that there might be 15. ESPN had reported that Flacco was going to be the 18th guy. But somewhere in that range, I don't know if we have the exact number pinned down, but there's 15 to 17 guys, as far as we know, who have played quarterback in the NFL, taken at least one snap past the age of 40. And so the question here is, Ronnie, and Tim, if Tim hasn't already known, because I'm playing this fair.
I haven't looked. I have not looked, Ricky.
I haven't looked. I haven't given it much thought. I'll tell you a few that come to mind for me right off the bat. There's a few that are pretty easy. Brett Favre, Warren Moon, George Blanda. There's 3. I believe Steve DeBerg. Steve DeBerg is another one. So there's 4. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, probably Drew Brees.
Yeah.
I think you've got some of those guys, right? And then you're going back and thinking, okay, who over the age of 40 has played the quarterback position in the NFL? Gentlemen, I don't know how many that is that we just named.
This is hard because I had the ones you had. This is hard.
Yeah.
Ricky, I know one only because of my time in DC. And you tweeted about
Billy Kilmer.
Yeah.
Billy Kilmer?
Yeah, no, Sonny. And Aaron Spielberg has the can I say Redskins history Redskins CD, but Sonny was a big part of it. He played way into his 40s, right?
Y.A. Tittle?
No. And then one other one that I know just from the Baltimore days, I think Johnny U was on the list.
Okay.
We could double check that.
He would have been with San Diego then, though, right?
I believe so, yeah. And then last one for me, I'm pretty sure Testaverde. I feel like when he stepped in when Chad Pennington got hurt, whether he was with the Jets, but you remember Vinny was also in with the Cowboys too. So I feel like Vinny T is on the list, but we may have to have Jared come in and referee the rest of it. Yeah.
That sounds right. I feel like did Dave Craig, did he stick around long enough to age 40? I don't know. It's a fun little game to try to think of who these guys are, because it's a more exclusive fraternity than I would have imagined, actually.
I'm getting a no on Craig, but a yes. I'm getting a no on Craig, but a yes on Testaverde in my ear here. DeBerg was certainly one of them. I just got the link here. Want me to open the rest of it before we move on here?
Yeah. Hey, Ricky.
Open the rest of it, but make it fun. Tell me the team. Let me see if I can get it.
Ooh, kind of a who am I?
Yeah.
One of the Hasselbeck brothers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I didn't know that. No, it was Matt with the Colts. Yeah.
What other teams?
Brad Johnson.
Okay.
Can you guess the team?
Tampa Bay.
Dallas. Yeah. Couple more. He known more for his college days and the miracle pass that he had.
Flutie?
Yeah.
Doug Flutie. Wow.
Yeah.
He got a late start.
He stole the Heisman from Keith Byers with that pass.
Here's one I never would have gotten. Vince Evans. With the Raiders.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, he was. I remember he was older. Yep.
That's
okay.
Because he
couple
had
more
a number
here.
of years in his career where he barely played.
How about Warren Moon? Did Warren Moon make it past 40?
Yeah. Moon was on the list. Yeah, I'll give you one. Chiefs, old school, 2 bars on the mask. Not Montana.
Lenny Dawson.
Lenny Dawson. Yeah. And then give me an old Dolphin, not Marino.
Greasy?
Nope. By the way, Armando Seguero on our morning call today, we'll have to ask him next time. He almost got into a fist fight with Greasy. It was a very good story if Armando's watching right now. Years ago.
Earl Morrall.
Earl Morrall, yes, Earl Morrall.
Okay. Let's follow
Sonny, Johnny U, and then this one I never would have gotten. Last one here, and we'll move on. There's 2. Green Bay Packers, first name Zeke.
Bart Cow. Say, I can't get it out.
Yeah. Bratkowski.
Bratkowski. Yeah. Bratkowski.
And then an old New York Giant. Initial CC. Charlie Connerly.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that's got to be what, the 30s or 40s or something.
Everybody that's been watching this show waiting for the Charlie Connerly reference. Here it was. Today,
you mentioned Breeze and the others, but hey, this is maybe a good prize pick. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly, Ricky, where I haven't looked yet, but when we get the money in your account, I can't wait to lose it.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I am so eager to lose all of my prize picks money, but who knows? I don't know. Prize picks set you up where your skill is the factor here. So you're going in and you're taking what you know, you're playing the percentages, you're playing the odds, you're calling upon your wealth of sports knowledge. That's what I love about prize picks. I also love the fact that it's simple to play. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections. All right, for myself right now, I'm looking at some season-long possibilities. How many yards is Saquon Barkley going to rush for this year? I don't think he's going to get 2,000 again, but when I look at the more or less on prize picks, I feel like maybe we're going to go more here. I'm looking at touchdown passes as well, but I'm also looking forward to playing on a weekly basis, and it's easy to do. It's easy to cash in when you win, and you could win up to 2,000 times your money back. I didn't misspeak. Up to 2,000 times your money. It's the best way to win real money this football season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money with Prize Picks. Best yet, you can download the Prize Picks app today and use my code Ricky. That is RICKY. You'll get $50 in free lineups when you play your first $5 in lineups. That's all you got to do. You play $5 in lineups, use code Ricky. You'll get $50 in free lineups. So you are set up to get out of the gate strong on the Prize Picks dime. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right. All right. I've got to address something with everyone. I made a little post on Super 70 Sports a couple of nights ago. And as you know, if you follow me, I like to make 1 or 2 posts a day where we consider a topic. We talk about, great players from a particular organization, or your favorite, name a great 80s song, this, that, the other, or whatever. We have great conversations at Super 70s, and that's one of my favorite things about it. And so I decided, name an overrated movie would be a good category, and I will tell you how I came to that idea. I was drinking a Coke Zero, which, by the way, one of the worst fucking products ever made in the history of man.
As my girlfriend can't believe we'd even try it. It's terrible.
Like poison. It tastes like poison. Now, I will say that cherry Coke Zero is good. Somehow the cherry knocks out the poison flavor, and I actually enjoy cherry Coke Zero. But I had a regular Coke Zero. Well, I'll tell you why. I did an Uber Eats order, and that was what they brought me instead of a Diet Coke. They brought me a Coke Zero. So I would never buy one on my own, I can tell you that. Anyway, beside the point, but any opportunity I have to tell people that Coke Zero is terrible, I'm going to grab it. So I'm drinking this Coke Zero and not enjoying it. And I look down at the label, and there's a picture of Harrison Ford on it as Han Solo. And I thought to myself, you can't fucking get away from Star Wars in this society. And I'm not saying that's something that bothers me. I got nothing against Star Wars. I went to Star Wars convention in 2002 in Indianapolis, Indiana. And yes, it was maximum nerd vibes everywhere.
Nerd.
Well, it was my ex-wife. Don't blame it on me, bro. I didn't see any of the Star Wars movies until I was 27 years old, because my then girlfriend, future ex-wife, future mother of my children, which I do appreciate her for that, she was a Star Wars fan. So she sat me down and made me watch the trilogy. She couldn't believe that I was 27 years old and I had never seen. Now, I knew who Chewbacca was. I knew who Luke Skywalker was. I even had some of the toys when I was a kid because I was in first grade in 1977. But I was never hugely into it. I never sat down and watched it start to finish. I just didn't care. I was into sports. Even at age 6, I knew that I was going to grow up to get pussy, Ron. So I was into sports. I wasn't going that direction. Aaron Spielberg has done just fine. I'm just kidding. But the point that I'm making here is this, guys. Star Wars has left such a cultural footprint, you can't get away from it. Every toy aisle and every Target and Walmart and wherever you go in America, I guarantee you go walk down it, there's going to be plenty of Star Wars stuff. There's Star Wars branding on all kinds of merchandise, whether it's cereal, whether it's whatever. I'm just saying, if you wanted to avoid Star Wars, it's an impossibility. You simply cannot do it. It is in the air of American culture, and you're going to breathe it in whether you're looking for it or whether you're not. And I thought to myself, the movie's all right. It's okay. I know I'm making some people mad at me right now. I would give it a thumbs up. Okay, please understand, I'm not your enemy. Overrated doesn't mean the same thing as bad. I'm not saying Star Wars is bad. I think Star Wars is a good movie. I'm going on the record with that, okay? It's a good movie. I would give it a thumbs up. I never got why it was so good that it just became almost like a religion for a certain segment of society. And so that, to me, equals overrated. Now, I probably shouldn't say this either because this is going to make other people mad at me. And I don't want you guys to be mad at me. And by the way, thanks for all the birthday shout outs yesterday, everybody. They are appreciated. So don't be mad at the birthday boy. It's, one day after your birthday, you should still get a grace period on this stuff, right? Nolan Ryan, I think, is the most overrated pitcher in baseball history. Okay, now, before I have to duck, what's coming at me here, okay? Like somebody ducking stormtrooper shots. They've never hit anything. We all know it. I think Nolan Ryan is also my favorite pitcher. He's my favorite pitcher to watch. I think he's the most unhittable pitcher in history. He's a badass. He's an icon. He is one of the greatest pitchers ever to live. But there's a lot of people who think he's the best pitcher who ever lived. And he's not the best pitcher who ever lived. He just simply isn't. His control wasn't good enough. He's great. He's one of the greats. He's not the greatest of all time. Mike Tyson, by the way, I would argue is the most overrated boxer in history. Question that I hate is when people say prime Tyson would beat anybody. He lost when he was 23 years old. False. Okay, well, that wasn't his prime. Well, if your prime is over by the time you're 23, you're also not the greatest boxer of all time. People are like, nobody could have beaten him the night that he beat Michael Spinks, is basically the argument they're making. So you can be great. You can be historically great and still overrated, is what I would say to you. So that's where I was coming from with that. And it upset some people. So Tim, I think you have queued up here some of the blowback that I received, the backlash.
We went light in the beginning, Ricky. We went light in the beginning before people called you a total loser.
Okay. Okay, let's see here. Tommy Callahan III, a great auto parts, Sandusky, Ohio, says, if you don't like it, that's fine. Just say that. But just because it isn't your thing doesn't make it overrated. Now, that's true. Just because something isn't my thing doesn't make it overrated. And this is where I thought, okay, I'm going to try to get out in front of this, and I'm going to try to mitigate the damage here. I was my own PR guy, Ron. I said, I think it's a good movie. I just don't think it's good enough to merit the stranglehold that it's had on American culture for 50 years.
Right, you can roll it now.
So that fucking Harrison Ford is on my Coke Zero label 49 years later or whatever. The great Matt Lawson, who's been on this program, says, how dare you? How dare you?
So things get normal here, Ricky. Yeah, things get normal. We can roll it.
People are participating.
Yeah. Right,
yeah, it was an invitation to participation, which is
Jaws,
what these things are. And as I
little
told
overrated.
You, Tim, as I told you, people were saying clickbait, people were saying troll, and anybody who knows me, I I don't clickbait. Because I'm too damn good. I don't have to clickbait. And secondly, it's just not my style. I told Tim before the show, Ron, I almost went with something other than Star Wars just to avoid this. The Indianapolis Colts, who have announced that Daniel Jones, the acquisition that they made, of course, former New York Giants quarterback, is going to be their starter. He is beaten out Anthony Richardson, who obviously was drafted a couple of years ago with the intention in Indianapolis that he was going to be the guy. And when you make an investment in a high first-round draft pick in a quarterback, obviously the stakes are very high when you do that. And the Anthony Richardson era has, let's face it, it has not been good. And with Daniel Jones getting the nod, there are some people that are surprised about that, but I know a guy who's not. And if you will indulge me here, since it is my show, I don't often do this. In fact, I'm not sure that I've ever done it, but let's get in the Ricky Cobb Show time machine and go back to March and see what I had to say on the topic of the Indianapolis Colts quarterback situation. I think Daniel Jones has a pretty good chance to win that quarterback competition if it is, in fact, an open competition. And I don't think they're paying him $14 million to come in and just, hand him a clipboard and it be as simple as that. Anthony Richardson's going to have to show something to be the week one quarterback in Indianapolis, and I don't think he's going to do it. I'm going to predict right now that Daniel Jones starts the year as their quarterback.
Hot take rewind.
Like fucking Karnak here. Nostradamus. Quatrains. That's what Orson Welles used to say when he talked about Nostradamus. But I don't think you have to be Nostradamus to see what's going on with Anthony Richardson. So as much as I'm taking my victory lap, I don't think that it took exceptional foresight on my part to see that Anthony Richardson is just not accurate enough to be the guy. I think it was Sean Salisbury, our friend, who said on the program earlier this week that he's got the arm strength to throw it through the car wash and the football not get wet. The only problem is he might miss the car wash entirely. And I think that is the issue. So Anthony Richardson's got $1 million arm, but he's one of those guys where the measurables seem to be where he excels, and in actually putting the pieces together, unable to do that so far in his young career. He is considered by a lot of people to be the greatest gunner, the greatest wedge buster, the greatest special teams player whose job wasn't to kick the ball or return the ball primarily. And every team needs these guys. It's an extremely important job, and they're unsung heroes, appreciated by their teammates, appreciated by the coaching staff, appreciated perhaps by the team's fans, but they don't get the national recognition. So much so that when I talk about great gunners and I talk about great wedge busters, if you're thinking any name right now, the odds are probably pretty good that you know who my guest is, because there aren't a lot of other names that even come to mind. And so for those of you who already know, I will let you know, and for the rest, I will break the suspense. My guest today, my pleasure to welcome to the program, 5-time first-team NFL All-Pro, as well as the co-host of One Bills Live. He is a Buffalo Bills legend. Steve Tasker joins the show. Steve, how are you?
I'm doing good. I see that's actually not my Twitter handle. I don't have anything to do with that Hall of Fame. Put Steve Tasker on the Hall of Fame Twitter. I don't have anything to do with it, but how can I root against myself? Thanks for doing it though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We know that you're not behind the keyboard, because the truth is, there are a lot of us, and you've been a semifinalist numerous times for the Hall of Fame. And I want to talk to you about it, not just from the standpoint, I don't want you to put you in the position where you feel like, you have to say that you believe you're a Hall of Famer, because I'll say it for you, and so will many, many, many other people. Here's the way I want to frame it, Steve, and I'll be interested in your response. Special teams play so important. And as I said, it is an unsung hero's job. Lots of times it's It's guys that are getting paid less, appreciated less, all of that kind of thing, and dangerous historically. Being a gunner, being a wedge buster, I mean, wedge busting, obviously we're in a different environment in 2025, but it's a dangerous job. I mean, you were sacrificing your body for the team, arguably more than anybody else on the entire roster during most of your career. And same goes for everybody else who had that job on their respective teams. I feel like it's a slap in the face and disrespectful to the importance of special teams play that we can sit here today with you, the unquestioned GOAT, in my mind, of what you did. And for you not to be in Canton, I think it's a slap in the face at everybody who goes out there and sacrifices in that capacity. Can you talk a little bit about how you came to fill that role, how that became your assignment, and where you made your money in the NFL? And can you talk a little bit about you getting into the Hall of Fame? I think would be a recognition more broadly for a whole lot of people who have never received their just due.
Well, I appreciate those are kind words, and you're right. It's a different world we live in special teams play today in the NFL, no question. I got a chance to contribute to a really good team, and that's really what most players want. They want a chance to contribute to the team winning games and make a difference in those games. And statistically speaking, special teams they are a third of the game, but they're only about 20% of snaps in an NFL game with kickoff return, punt return, and field goal defense. Those 6 special teams are primarily where most of the special team snaps come from, and they're only about 20% of the snaps in a game. However, they are weighted because of the meaning they have within the context of a game. It's the only play in which one team will deliberately give the ball to its opponent, where they kick it off to them or where they punt it away to their opponent. Also, 90 to 95% of all field position is dictated by special teams with kickoffs and punts. So those two things, it's the deliberate changeover, the possession of the ball, and the field position that make it a little more weighted. Plus, on field goal defense, it's a direct try for points. So those 3 aspects, the direct try for points, the changeover, and the field position, weight those 20% of those snaps so that they really are a third of the importance of snaps in a game, because they dictate how the other 2 sides of the ball, offense and defense, play. Over the last 15 or 20 years, maybe a little longer than that, they've begun to take into account player safety. The wedge buster is a thing of the past. There's no such thing as a wedge anymore. They can't even double team players on certain plays. They can't overload on a punt rush or a field goal rush. They have to split out evenly across the defensive front. So you can't really overload a guy and go over and get through to block a punt like you did. So they've really made it difficult, almost impossible in my mind, for a guy like I used to be, or whoever, Matt Slater, whoever, Ron Wolfley, Musi Tutupu, all the guys, and Bill Bates. It's hard for guys in today's game to make plays the way those guys did. Even Matt Slater was a victim of that through the last 10 years of his career. So it's just hard to make a play because it's so restrictive on what you can do to have an advantage. So it's more about not making a catastrophic mistake to give the other team a break, rather than making a superlative play of your own. So that's kind of where special teams have evolved to. I think the new kickoff rules are going to help that. They're going to be more dynamic kick returns in the game today, with the 35-yard line as the touchback rule for a ball that's not returned on a kickoff. You're going to see a lot more balls put into play throughout the season. That will help some on both sides. So yeah, and listen, I was flattered to be in the conversation for the Hall of Fame for as long as he still am. But it's a tough sell because of the snap counts. You get a guy, like a Bruce Smith, a good close friend of mine, who was one of the greatest all-time players ever. He played a lot of defensive snaps in a game, ton of them. I would play maybe 20 snaps in a 150 snap game or 25 snaps in a 150 snap game. Bruce would play 75 of those snaps, right? So on defense. So he he was on the field a lot more. He could make a bigger difference. He could be a bigger part of the team, at least even in the perception of the public's eye, because of his sacks and the superlative and the great plays, the sacks that he made. So it's hard sell for guys who are in my position to get in the conversation to be in the Hall of Fame, because there's always deserving guys on that list. I mean, I'm always on the list to get in the Hall of Fame, but my name just comes too far down the list for them to consider putting me in, and that's kind of where it is right now. I've been really honored to be considered for that. I wouldn't trade anything in my career for what happened to me. It was great all the way through from start to finish, and so I feel really lucky to have been a part of all of it.
Sophie Cunningham continuing to make news in the wake of her season-ending MCL injury, replying to someone who was replying to Sophie's sister. And we showed you the tweet on the program earlier this week. Her sister saying basically that people needed to protect the players, the officiating was bad. And this MJ here saying, protect athletes, shut up, bitch. Referring to Sophie Cunningham's sister. I think Lindsay is her name, if I'm not mistaken. And Sophie quote tweeting this and saying, some of us were raised by the words of don't bite off more than you can chew, and some of us didn't. Fuck around and find out. Kissy face. And so, Ron, it was a little unclear to me. Some people were saying, I think, that she was saying fuck around and find out to this, troll poster or whatever. And I think she was just saying, fuck around and find out on the basketball court. If, you fuck around, you'll find out, which is kind of what we said was happening at the time.
No, I think I disagree with you, Ricky. I think it's a direct response. It's a direct response to MJ, because she's saying some of us were raised with the words, don't bite off more. So she was saying, are you seriously saying this to me? You don't know who you can't handle me.
Well, I guess you're right now that I think about it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, she's going after MJ.
Now that I look at it, I think you're right about that.
Yeah, actually. She's going after MJ.
I was smoking crack, Ryan. I was smoking crack. You've cleared it up for me yet again, as you have so many times over the course of this magnificent friendship that we have. A friendship that landed you in the sidekick seat as a fucking guy who puts logos on things. And now I look at you 5 days a week, tilt my head slightly to the side and say, what the fuck, Ron?
So anybody that follows your X or Twitter feed, they know that you have an affinity for playgrounds of the past that were built most likely by psychopaths that wanted to kill children. So we're going to show a couple of them now before we get into my story. So
this is my favorite. This is my favorite, by the way, Ron. Of all of them, this is my favorite, which is saying a lot.
Ricky, there's no rails on that thing, like no guide rails. Think about that.
No.
It's insane.
There are so many things that could go wrong.
Teach kids to make good choices. Make good choices. Don't go too fast.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, Ricky. I told you that I have a fear of unsuspended heights. I would be afraid to just climb those steps. Forget about doing this.
There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
0% fucking chance. And it basically looks like it's a ladder.
Yeah.
More than steps. Are those steps or is that a ladder?
I don't know. And just the fact that there's no guardrails. Like a hybrid. There's no guardrails.
Yes. There are no guardrails. Like, who decided it needed to be that high? And why?
It's so funny because sometimes today I think, oh my gosh, settle down. You're overprotecting everything. But it's the response to this stuff, right? It's like, what you used to do when there were no protections.
Yes. I mean, if the choice is between overprotective and that, I guess we got to go with overprotective. And
now this one's not dangerous
as well, Ron.
This one's not necessarily dangerous, but it's what mind came up with this one, Ricky?
Can you imagine being there the day that the guy pitched that? It's like, all right, we need some stuff for this amusement park. He's like, I got an idea. I think that we should build about a 25-foot tall Sasquatch, and then we're going to have tubes protruding from his nips that children will slide out of. How does that sound as an idea?
Had to be a double tuber, not a single.
Well, oh my God. That's a good point, Tim. That is absolutely valid.
All right. So, Ricky,
I don't know what's going on there either.
The reason that I wanted to show these today was in Vernon, Connecticut. And I got to tell you, anytime I see some crazy ass story that goes down in Connecticut involving a middle-aged man, I immediately assume Tim is involved. So
bird watching incident gone wrong.
Yes,
is the most probable cause.
So anyways, a 40-year-old dude decides to go down a slide, and he goes down a tube slide and he gets stuck. And the fire department had to come out and cut open the tube to get this guy who had wedged himself in there.
For this motherfucker. Was he there with his children? Why was a 40-year-old man attempting to go through this thing?
He's unidentified, and there's no report of him being there with anybody. So I don't know.
All right, did refuse. He
refused to go to the hospital.
If you're 40 years old, you don't need to be at a playground unless you're there with your children. That's how,
Or Kentucky, your grandchildren.
Or in Kentucky, your grandchildren. Maybe this guy got caught up in the tube before he had the opportunity to become a red dot on a map somewhere, Ron. We may just be fortunate that this motherfucker got caught in that thing.
Yeah.
For all I know.
But yeah, so I saw this story and immediately thought of your affinity for dangerous playgrounds.
I do love dangerous playgrounds.
You do.
I'll tell you that. But
all right, so I got some good news.
Even for myself. Okay.
I've got some good news and I have some bad news for you. Okay.
Well, shit. Why does it always have to go hand in hand?
This February, a Norwegian cruise that's 11 days going out of Miami is being billed as the Big Nude Boat. And I know how much you love to be naked, and I know how much you love to be naked in public. So it's an 11-day cruise for you to be naked. Now,
you're not on Don't At Me right now, Ron. Are you confused? Do you think you're on Dockage right now?
I'm sorry, Dan.
This isn't Dan. Don't At Me is in the mornings.
How funny hey, should we everybody at OutKick? I bet if we got everybody at OutKick to pull, I don't know, $20, we could gift Dan and his wife this cruise. I mean, we'll get them an inside cabin, nothing spectacular, but I mean, it would be a great gift. Anyway,
I would chip in for that.
Miabsolutely. So the bad news, though, is you have to wear clothes during dinner. And this one's really might be a problem for you. No genital jewelry or fetish gear is allowed.
I'm out. Well, I'm out. That's it. I'm done. I'm not taking out the Prince Albert just to go on this cruise. I'll tell you that right now. So they told, look back there, by the way, look who's aboard this week. There he is. Welcome aboard. It's Nude. Da, 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 da.
Please have one for Ricky.
Well, we don't, because Ricky created that one, Ron.
Oh.
So that was the last thing I did before I sat down in the chair, is I texted that to Jared. And I said, use this during the Nude
So anyways, good news,
sequence.
Bad news, Ricky. Naked.
Listen, I will say having to wear clothes during dinner, You don't want like somebody dropping their dong in your aioli. You know what I mean? Some guy just goes walking by. Yeah, can't have that. Even I think that that's a good call.
Is that the first time in the history of human existence that the phrase "drop your dong in aioli" has ever been said?
I don't know. I probably Ron and
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com where you can watch the full episode.